Hey guys, Erin here with Southern Girl Exotics. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to answer a question that gets asked all the time in my DMs, as well as I see it asked all the time on social media. What should I pair my Gargoyle Gecko to? This is something that is going to be completely dependent on the individual breeder. I hate this question because it really comes off across like, I've done no research, I have this animal at home and I just want to breed it, so what can I throw with it? However, I want to look at it in a more positive light and assume maybe what this question means is I'm confused on how the traits work, how their genetics work, how color works. So I'm asking that just in a more simpler form. So what I'm going to do with this video is I'm hoping to, one, do a little quick crash course in their morphs, their genetics, and then I want to show you guys some of my pairings and some of their offspring to kind of give you an idea what certain A and B will produce, Z and Y might produce. So just kind of give you guys a little idea. I'm hoping this video is going to be informative. I hope it's going to help those newer breeders or people that ask this question often, give them a more smooth transition into breeding. So if you like the video, give it a like, definitely subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you at the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. All right guys, so Gargoyle geckos have two primary pattern morphs. You've got the reticulated banded and then you have the striped. Now reticulated animals are going to have that mottled polka dotty type look. Banded animals are going to have bands that run from left to right of the animal, and then you have stripes, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be dorsal and lateral striping that starts at the neck and runs to the base of the tail. Now this has nothing to do with color. This is simply what their base pattern is. Then we have color traits we add on top of that. Red striped, orange blotch, red blotch, yellow, etc. Now it's important for you guys to know the two main morphs because you need to know how they work together in order to have some type of understanding of what you might get when you pair two animals together. Now striped is a more dominant trait than reticulated or banded. So if you put a stripe with a stripe together, you're most likely going to get all stripes. Now if your striped has reticulated in its lineage or its het for retic, then you will probably get some funky wild cards in your offspring. You'll get mostly stripes, but you'll also probably get some fun skeletons, mosaics, things like that. Now, if you do a banded reticulated to a banded reticulated, you're going to get all banded reticulated. Because it is the weaker influence, you are never going to produce a stripe from two banded reticulated animals. Now, what if you do a banded and reticulated to a striped? Well, you're going to get the majority of the animals are going to be striped, and then you're also going to get a couple banded reticulateds, and then of course the odds go up a little more if your striped has banded reticulated in it. All right guys, so let's talk about how color works. So blotching is typically a color trait you're going to see on banded and reticulated animals. Striping is obviously going to be a color trait that you see on striped animals. There's red striped, orange striped, yellow striped, red blotch, orange blotch, yellow blotch, then you have black and whites. Then we also have base colors. Some are white base, some are brown base, some are red base. I've seen purple based animals, pink based animals. So really this question is totally going to be dependent on the breeder. What direction do you want to go in? Now the way colors work, let's start with base color. Kids can blend a base color. You could put a red and a white together and it might have a base color that's similar to mom, similar to dad, or maybe it picked up a little bit of both. Most of the time it's going to be one or the other. If you put a white base animal with a red base animal, you're probably going to get one or the other. Vice versa, if you did a purple and a red, etc., etc. Now, as far as blotching or striping, how does that color work? It's pretty much the same thing. Sometimes the offspring will blend the colors of both parents. Sometimes the offspring will only pick up color from the mom or the dad. As far as saturation, how much coverage will your animal get? The more coverage that your breeders have, the higher chance you have of producing animals with higher coverage. Now, I've also seen incredible animals produce mediocre kids. I've seen mediocre kids, but with incredible lineages, produce some incredible kids. For me, I think it's important that you look as far as the parents of your animal in lineage. And that will give you a good idea of what the grandparents were. Were they reds? Were they oranges? How far back does the red color go, the orange color go, the blotching or the striping, etc., etc. However, the two main things to look at is your male and your female. If they have higher saturation, you're probably going to produce a higher number of highly saturated animals. If they have lower saturation, it may be hit or miss. But again, this is something you're going to learn as you breed a particular animal. Then you'll learn if it throws six stripes. Does it throw more saturation in the dorsal? Does it throw eyebrows on it? I mean, all that kind of stuff you're going to learn as you go. But just to have a better understanding of where to start, it's always best if you can buy high quality, highly saturated, colorful animals to start with. Sometimes we all can't do that. That's perfectly understandable. But if you can at least get one that has parents that have a good lineage, have good color and saturation, you'll still be on your way to producing beautiful animals in whatever direction you're wanting to go. All right, so let's take a look at some of my pairings, some of my blotch to blotch, some of my stripe to blotch, some of my stripe to stripe pairings, and take a look at some of their offspring.
Let's start with one of my favorite pairings, Crayola and Saffron. Saffron's got that rich red purplish base, the bleeding of the dorsal lines. Oh, just beautiful, beautiful animal. I'm obsessed with her. I paired her with Crayola 2 years in a row. He's got that linear striping to him, very defined, and this is one of their offspring that I held back. This one definitely got dad's linear defined striping, but he got mom's red base as well as mom's rich red coloring. Incredible structure. This animal is absolutely beautiful and, of course, outdid both mom and dad when it comes to structure and color. Quality is insane. This is to show the variety. This is a full sibling to the one I just showed you. This one got, again, mom's red coloring as well as her red base. Great structure, but he's got the bleeding of the dorsals just like mom does versus the linear striping. Beautiful animal. And then this one was a wild card. I was not expecting to get this baby. I actually got two like this. I was shocked. Having a beautiful, beautiful skeleton pop into the mix. I was not disappointed at all. This baby has incredible structure. And again, it got mom's red base and it got her rich, dark red color. Now, Crayola was actually red when he was younger. I mean, like super duper dark red. And then he grew into be more orange. I know that his background, his lineage, he comes from some incredible red lines. So I'm not so surprised that none of the animals picked up any orange, and I was hoping to get the majority of them to pick up mom's color anyways, or some rich reds. This is another pairing that is one of my favorites. This is Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary does not look like much when she's fired down. This is just to show you more of the striping underneath her, but this girl is stunning. Here she is fired up. What a difference. But she throws the most magnificent six-striped red animals no matter who I pair her with. I paired her with Crayola this past year, and again, he's got incredible structure. He's got those defined stripes, orange, but he's got the red in his background. So I was super stoked to see what kind of animals I would get from these two, and they did not disappoint. I wasn't expecting anything besides some nice stripes, and boy, did I get it. This is one of the females that I held back. Look at that saturation and that color. Stunning, dark, rich red. Beautiful head structure and then fat lateral color. I mean, this baby outdid both parents when it comes to color and quality. I was so pleased with this girl as she grew out. This is her full sibling, another one I held back. This one's a male, and again, same thing. Look at all that color. Incredible red coloring. Laterals have coloring, so they're super stripes. beautiful structure on these animals. These guys never disappoint. This is one of my blotch to stripe pairings I want to show off. Siren is a orange blotch reticulated animal that I paired to Slash, who is the red stripe. Siren's got that beautiful tangerine coloring, and Slash has got that darker, almost like reddish orange color. Now, I wasn't sure really what I would get from these two, and that's kind of the fun when you put a striped and a reticulated together. But again, they didn't disappoint. I was hoping that the babies would be mostly orange, and I was hoping, regardless if they were blotched or striped, that they would have tons of color. And look at what I got. This is one of the females I held back, outdid both parents. Beautiful, beautiful structure, incredible color, 6 stripes, so she's a super stripe, and then she's got almost a perfect mix of both mom and dad's color. Stunning animal. This is the other sibling that I held on to, and same thing. Outdid both parents. Lots of color, beautiful 6 striped. This one's got more of an orange like mom versus a mix or even closer to dad's color. I love this animal. I have a goal to have some amazing orange 6 stripes in the near future, and both of these females are going to be amazing for what I have in store. Next, we're going to take a look at this pairing, which just is going to show you that two animals that may not be visually wow can come from incredible lineage and give you some really nice animals. So Mango here is a massive bicolor female, but she comes from incredible red lineage. She is not something that just blows your mind when you look at her, but I knew that she came from some great lines, so I was stoked to pair her up and see what would happen. I paired her up with Slash, who is another one that I know has incredible lineage. However, again, he's not an animal that you look at and you just go, wow, that's the best thing I've ever seen. So I was mainly hoping for these guys that I would get some 6 stripes, or I would build into my orange 6 stripes that I'm hoping to get started soon and get some nice tangerine orangey animals. These guys totally didn't disappoint with their offspring. Unfortunately, I sold both. This female right here was a beautiful bicolor, had tons of color on the back, and then of course she was getting the dashed lines on the laterals. Beautiful, beautiful animal. Took on mom's and dad's both their white base, but definitely took on more of mom's rich orangey color, which I loved. Now this one was a holdback that I was totally not going to sell. I ended up selling her to Tristan at Gecko Junkie, but look at this animal. Can you believe that this animal came from those two? The cover on her dorsal, on her back, it's almost fully covered in that dark, rich orange. She blew my mind. She totally outdid both parents. Best outcome for what I expected with these two.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope the video was informative. I certainly hope that it's going to give you a little bit of a better understanding of what you might want to pair, and hopefully get you in the right direction of having a planned and an end game if you are going to breed your gargoyle geckos. If you ever have any questions, I love talking gecs, so you can always reach out to me on social media, and if I have the time, I will always take the time to answer. Definitely give it a like and a subscribe to the channel if you have enjoyed the content so far. I am going to be doing a video soon that's going to go in more depth over all the different color traits and pattern traits of these animals, so keep an eye out for that, and definitely subscribe if you want to see that one. Yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.